Frankie, my boy.
Oh, Duncan, it's June, baby.
Happy June to all of us. Frank's slugging a something, carbonated drink. He keeps talking about how we should stop taking those before we film, but here he is. And he's following it up with some water, it seems. Wow, what a champion.
Ooh, don't chug Sprite and then water at the same time.
Okay, I won't. I'm
Oh, it's
surprised
not
you
good.
did.
Welcome to June. Welcome to the MrMovies podcast. Give
Yeah.
give this video before we start. Give this video a like, okay? And
Oh
I'm not
wow.
going to have any of that non-subscribing crap, okay? Click the subscribe button, like this video, and you know what? Hit the bell notification.
All right. Well, Frank usually saves that to the end, but you're getting held up at gunpoint right here at the beginning.
Please
Engage with our
do.
channel. Yeah, we're
Um,
gonna talk about some movies we saw and whether or not we'd recommend them to you.
I'm actually really excited to talk about this month. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 things. I
I
have three. How many do you have?
had five.
Shit. Alrighty. I'll go quick on this one. Jurassic World Dominion.
Ooh.
I watched it.
Uh-huh.
I just have so many questions.
Okay.
You have a franchise about dinosaurs, and you make a movie that doesn't focus on dinosaurs. It focuses on Lotus instead, and
That
then
is a
there's
little
just
strange.
dinosaurs randomly in the background because it's Jurassic
And
World.
this is the end of the franchise, right? Or at least the trilogy.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't that makes no sense to me?
it doesn't make sense. I was
Why do they do that?
also I would like to point out, and this was very upsetting to me. Like a few months before the movie came out, they did like a promotion thing where they were like, "We're gonna release the first like 3 minutes of the movie. It's like the opening scene," and I was like, "Yeah." And I watched it, and it slapped. There was like a
Hmm.
dinosaur in a drive-in, and it was like
Oh, I
munching
think
on
I saw
people.
that too. Yeah.
That's how you start the movie. I'm like, yeah, it's not in the movie.
What?
None of that footage is in the movie.
Wait, so they'd release the first 3 minutes and then that wasn't it?
I'm sorry, I should not do carbonated beverages before I
You
record. I
say this
know.
every time.
I just drank my last one that I own and I won't buy anymore.
All right, glad to hear it.
I yeah, it's just not in the movie.
That's a very bizarre choice. Do you think it just
Like
got like cut out
I
in
didn't
edits?
like the last Jurassic World that came out.
Sure.
Um, but you know, it ended with the little spoiler alert, the little clone girl releasing all the dinosaurs into the wild. She was like, "They're alive, just like me," and
They're
she let them all
clones.
go.
Yeah.
She let them all go, and I was like, you know what, that wasn't good. But hey, the sequel, they're just gonna have dinosaurs roaming around in the world. That's
Right.
gonna be cool. They do nothing with it in this movie.
Okay, I didn't see the second one. Where were the dinosaurs released?
So the first half of that movie is really good actually. It's like the island, the
And like it's
Jurassic
collapsing.
Park, if you will, like blowing up. So they're trying to save the animals from like completely dying. But then
Sure.
like I forget what happens. Some rich people steal the
Right.
dinosaurs and they start auctioning them off
And they
at a
have to go to
house.
the haunted house
And
to like buy them.
there's a little girl that lives in the house and her name's Maisie.
She's the
And then
clone.
she's
We
obsessed with
know.
her she's obsessed with her dead mom, but then she finds out that she's a clone of her dead mom. Um, and then she's like, "Oh my gosh, I was genetically mutated like the dinosaurs. They're alive just like me."
My
So she lets
question
them
is, where
go
was the house?
in the woods.
Where in the continental United States was that house?
I don't remember when was the I
If the premise of this movie is that there are dinosaurs all over the planet, like in every continent,
oh, that's true.
where's this house? How did they all go
That
out from that one
that
house?
actually does not make sense
And
because they go to multiple
there's
countries in this movie
in the
too.
trailers, there's like that giant one beneath the waves. Where was that in
Well,
the
they have
house?
the ones that fly,
Well,
so I
yeah,
mean, it could
sure,
have.
but like the
But
big
yeah, no,
fish.
there's Oh, you know what? I think there's like a black market of people like trading dinosaurs. Duncan,
All right, fuck this franchise. I don't know what you want me to say.
no, I like the franchise. I don't like what it's become.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, we said this one would be quick, and we're talking about it. So your turn.
Well,
Go again.
Duncan, I watched a comedy movie
Oh, haha.
starring Sandra Bullock and
Sandra Block.
Channing Tatum. And
Oh,
it's
this is the adventure movie.
The Lost City. Oh, and Daniel Radcliffe is the bad guy in it.
Huh.
This is a funny movie. I laughed. I watched it with my mom, and we were both chuckling like a people who chuckle.
Now, I have heard this is a good mom movie.
This is a good mom
This
movie.
is like a good movie to sit down and watch with your mom.
This is yeah.
So,
I
like,
feel like
maybe
just
not.
mothers in general would enjoy this movie. They'd go
All
to
right.
the theater, put some wine in the coffee cup, and sip on it while watching.
You're stereotyping moms as like wine drinkers. Okay. Some of us do it for fun and we're not moms.
I listen. I'm a wine drinker myself, but I'm no mom.
Read another movie.
No, The Lost City is a good time.
Yeah,
It's
if you're a
really
mom,
funny.
check it out.
You don't even have to be a mom to enjoy it.
They should have put that on the poster.
And it's 2022, baby. So there's a mid-credit scene in that one.
Cool. Glad how that's a new trend.
Um, Duncan, what did you watch? Give us one thing.
I can go. Okay, June, I believe, was the month when Bo Burnham's Inside released the B-side and did the Inside outtakes.
I don't know what that means. I watched Inside. What is the?
He released like the cut scenes and the bloopers and like the if you go onto YouTube,
Oh,
like the inside outsides are it's just like
is it a movie?
another movie. It's like another movie from the same process.
Is it
It's
good
like
or no?
it is I think it affected me more than Inside because
Really?
this is all of the stuff that he did not put in Inside. And if you watch Inside, as he's talking about like his creativity decaying and how he's like dying as an artist, and to see what he did not want to show is so fascinating because it's him like starting to sing one of the songs and then he trips up a word and he just yells like fuck and throws the machine and you're like, oh my God. Like it's the
That's me
dude.
sitting in LA traffic. I
There are some songs in the Inside Outtakes that are probably better than some of the ones in the main one. I actually enjoyed this one, I think, a little bit more than the original. It's a good
Some
follow-up.
of my glasses are making that light magnify. Look at that. Ew. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I
Do you have ADHD? Is what is
no,
happening?
I don't.
I do, and I'm not as distracted as you are.
um, I, I'm just tired. Um,
Fair.
is that all you have to say?
Yeah, I heavily recommend it. If you
You
enjoyed
heavily
Inside,
recommend it.
heavily. It's a heavy wreck.
Alrighty. Well, while we're talking about artists and artistry, we're gonna actually have a serious conversation because I watched a movie, and I'm curious if you've ever had an experience like this. You're watching a movie and you're digging it, you're enjoying it, you're loving it, and then the credits hit and it says directed by name of terrible person, and you think, oh no, I didn't know they made this movie. That kind
Oh,
of makes me not like it.
interesting.
And I've never felt that way before watching something where like I fully enjoyed it and then I saw someone bad made it. And the movie in the scenario is Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, I was just like,
Now, I have seen Midnight in Paris. This is Owen Wilson, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Oh,
my girlfriend
wow.
hates me. Wow,
Oh, I'm Lightning
wow.
McQueen. Wow.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna go
go. I'm gonna
fast,
go.
Mater. Wow.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
go party
sorry.
with Scott Fitzgerald.
We
Wow,
are such like
my
white
girlfriend's gonna hate
boys.
me. Wow.
We are such like
No.
white boys in the film industry where it's like, hey, do you want to hear
How?
my Al Pacino? I'm gonna do Robert De Niro. Look,
Can you do a good Al Pacino?
hey.
What's my name? Dunkachino.
All right, we got to move on from the impressions. I've seen this, but I did know that Woody Allen made it because, like how did you miss it?
I was like, oh, Midnight in Paris. Everybody told me to watch this, so I just clicked play, and then
Oh, and then
you
that end
know,
title came up, and you were like,
I was like, oh.
all right. So, yeah, do you think you can enjoy art based on a terrible person if you didn't know the
I
terrible
feel like if
person?
I had known beforehand he had made it, I could have watched it knowing that, gotten past that, not
Right.
gotten past what he did. What he did was terrible, and I think is awful. But I can realize that a lot of people come together to work on a movie and put a lot into it, and I
Yeah.
think I could have enjoyed it.
So much more than the
Um,
director, right? Like
yeah, it
the
was just
director
more
does a
so.
lot.
You have a great dinner. It's fantastic. The ice cream comes, and then at the bottom there's just a big hair in it, a big clump of hair,
At
and
the
you're
bottom
like,
of your
oh,
ice cream.
yeah, right at the bottom. So it was marinating the whole time.
Oh my Christ.
Yeah.
Marinating.
Yeah. You know what my reaction would be if I saw that?
I do.
Wow. I
Frank, I know you. First of all, it would be like 15 minutes of you spitting out ice cream, and then you would like argue
That's
to fight,
true. I'd
try to
bleach my
fight the chef.
mouth.
Yeah.
It's true. I don't think a chef cooks ice cream, but I'd still fight them.
Yeah.
Um,
Who's not responsible for this?
I thought Midnight in Paris. What are your thoughts, like Woody Allen aside? What are your thoughts on Midnight in Paris?
I think it's a love letter written, and if you enjoy what it's talking about, then you're gonna love that love letter. But I'm not super into that. I'm not in love with the city. And oh, there was a person who walked these streets once. It's like a lot of people walk a lot of streets. And I don't know. I couldn't fall in love with what the movie was selling, but I
Mhm.
still liked it. It was a very well done movie.
Okay.
The directing was great. I'm
Oh,
kidding. I'm
come
kidding.
on. I'm going to talk real quick about a movie. Just say I watched it in June. I'm not going to get too into it because you already talked about it and we disagreed. Belfast. I thought it was good. I thought it was a nice little slice of life movie. Um, it wasn't Ant-Man and the Wasp, so Duncan didn't love it, but that's okay.
I don't know why you think that's my favorite movie.
It is. You own the physical media
You
version.
got me that for my birthday, I believe, so you could say that. And yeah, I still have it. I didn't get rid of it, but like, come on.
How many times a year do you watch it?
I don't have a DVD player. I actually can't watch it.
Are you telling me I got you? I didn't
It's
know that.
literally, it's decorative. It's like over on my shelf.
That's hilarious.
Anyway,
Wow, I did not know that. Why don't you own a DVD player?
they're expensive.
Duncan, Duncan,
I don't
Duncan.
collect DVDs. Did you bring any
Duncan,
of
what
your
did you
DVD
watch?
collection over to California?
So I don't have the Blu-ray player with me, and I didn't have a
Well,
lot of space.
we're in the
So I
same
only
boat.
brought, what did I bring? One, two, three, four, five. I brought five. Let's go over them right now.
All right.
E.T. on Steelbook. Had to
Okay.
bring it. It's a classic. Steven Spielberg's West Side Story.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen this movie, you need to watch it. It slaps.
No, not really.
The Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor Blu-ray combo. This is the only way you can watch the director's cuts of the episode. By the way, Mike Flanagan is on TikTok now. Follow him. He's an amazing follow. I love these. If you have not watched these, I don't know what's wrong with you. I highly recommend this box set. You have the DVD commentaries on it that you can only get on this. You can listen to Mikey Mike just explain everything. It is so magnificent. I love it. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I bought this at the dollar store. I haven't watched it before. I really want to see it. And then Zack the Snack Snyder's Justice League.
Wow. What a weird movie marathon those five would be.
Oh, just looking at The Haunting of Hill House makes me want to watch it again so I can weep. Um, Duncan, what did you watch in
Well,
the
that is a
lovely
good
month of
question.
June?
I watched season 3 of Love, Death, and Robots.
They already came out with season 3?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I've talked about Love, Death, and Robots twice before, and both times I said the same thing, where the premise of these stories is so good, the animation is flawless, very well executed short film, aside from the writing. Like the
Yeah.
writing is just usually the last thing they did, I'm imagining.
Now, you told me that from season 1 to season 2 it improved,
Yes, it did.
if I remember correctly. Now, from season 2 to season 3, did we go up, down, or plateau?
They they are very adamant in not improving, but I will say that in some of the episodes, I'd say half. In half of these episodes, the writing is phenomenal. And then in the other half, they're probably the worst it's ever been.
That's fair.
Especially if there's different studios doing it, then like, they can't.
Yeah.
And these are one-off
Studio.
stories. No,
Studio.
I would actually recommend you begin with season 3.
Oh,
Season
okay.
3 of Love, Death, and Robots. It sold me on watching whenever season 4 comes out. Because, after 2 seasons, I'm like, why do I keep watching this? And in
Yeah.
season 3, actually, there was some amazing stuff in there that I cannot recommend enough.
Okay. So you
Actually,
overall like the show. I mean, you've continued to watch 3 seasons
well,
of it.
yeah, I really like the hold on, I can't type and talk. Love, Death, Rubits. Um, I really like the premise of like a collection of short stories. That's really cool to me. Okay, Bad Traveling is episode 2. Phenomenal. I love that. Um, episode 4 is really good. Episode 5, and most of all, episode 9. I would absolutely like make a note of those and watch those because
Okay.
I loved them. That's it. That's it for Love, Death, and Robots.
Duncan, real
Watch.
quick, because I know I always forget to add this segment onto the end of the podcast. Anything you recommend that you're watching currently or that's in theaters that you think the people should seek out?
Watching currently. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a TV show and a movie.
I'm
Um,
going to also say a TV show and a movie.
okay. Well, I mean, one of mine is going to be something that you've already done this segment for, and that is Barbarian. I
Yes.
watched Barbarian within the last week. Oh my God.
You haven't thought about anything else. It's one
It's
of those
been pretty
movies.
consistently in my head. Every
Yeah.
room, every building I'm in, I'm like, y'all got catacombs here? Like, Barbarian is very, very good. It's horrendously horrifying. Like,
You went in knowing nothing?
I went in knowing absolutely nothing.
That's the best. I
It
went
was
into a
very
theater knowing
claustrophobic.
nothing. Oh my
And you were
God.
right, that kind of like mid-split, that caught me
Yeah.
way off guard. This movie was funny. Like, I didn't expect it to be funny in some parts, but like, I mean, we can't talk about it unless we did like a spoiler review, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then the TV show, I'm gonna
We
say,
are eventually going to spoil it.
oh yeah, we'll talk about
And
Barbarian.
I watched it in September, so I'm going to bring it up and we're going to spoil it because I think watch it. Please watch it.
Oh yeah,
You don't want this movie spoiled.
not at all.
What's your TV show?
It's gonna be Andor.
That was my TV show. Dude, I am loving Andor. This past episode, episode 10. Oh
I am
my
shocked by how good Andor is.
God.
I'm actually shocked at how like
Yeah.
competent and well written and thoughtful.
How is this like the lowest rated show? Like nobody's watching the show.
It's because Jango
How?
Fett isn't in it.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's
Oh my God.
if, but it's hardly Star Wars. It's like on one hand, it
Yes.
is the most Star Wars that it's ever been.
They went so far away from what Star Wars is as what we know it in our heads, that it feels like
It
Star
went back
Wars,
to what
which
Star
makes no
Wars
sense to
was.
say.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
it's great.
I don't know how to recommend this to people without them being like, oh, it's like The Mandalorian or something. And it's like,
No,
no, this side character from a spin-off is having the best TV show like that the franchise could do. And I
I
don't
love
know.
how versatile the franchise is, though.
That's
Like, I
true.
love that we can have a Mandalorian, we can have our animated stuff, and then
It's
we can actually
good
have
that
something.
there's room for everything. But like,
Yeah,
why aren't more people watching Andor?
I can't wait to rewatch Andor.
Oh yeah,
Like, I
especially now.
really want to binge it because I do think the week to week is a little hard to keep up with it. I can't wait when this all the episodes are. I'm literally planning on just watching the whole thing through.
They're very
I
good.
cannot wait.
I wish
It's so
because
good.
there's like 12 episodes in this season or 13. I think they should release
Yeah.
2 a week personally, like one on Wednesday, one on Saturday.
Andor is so good. It's so good.
How did they get away? How did Disney get away with
Oh
that?
my gosh. I get all the Skarsgård people mixed up.
This is Stellan,
This is Stellan. I know Bill was in Barbarian.
right?
Stellan is in this. Stellan Skarsgård, one of
That
my
dude's
favorite
good.
Star Wars
That
characters.
dude's good. Any movie he's
Yeah.
in.
And Kino Loy, my homeboy. I won't say who plays him,
Kino
but when you
Lorne?
meet him,
Oh yeah.
oh my
Frank, I
God.
don't. That's what brings it back to Star Wars. It's like Kino Loy. Is
Yes.
he green? Does he have 3 eyes? I don't know. It's Star Wars.
Oh my gosh. My favorite scene in one of my favorite all-time favorite scenes in Star Wars literally aired in this past week's episode. You know which one it is.
I might rewatch the most recent episode.
I have rewatched it. I've rewatched that scene like 10 times.
It's
I
very,
literally screen recorded it and have it saved on my phone and just sometimes watch it. I'm not even joking. I could literally pull it up right now. We got it. We got
there
it.
it is.
We got it. I love it. I
Oh
love it
God.
so much.
All right. What is your
Um,
movie and TV show?
that was such a tangent. Well,
Well, it was going to be your TV show too. So
yeah. Um, as I was saying, we're talking about Star Wars. Might as well continue the fun.
wait, is
And
this your movie that you're watching now? Your current recommendation?
oh, sorry, yeah, my current recommendation. I literally this morning just got out of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. It is I think it's the best of Phase Four. That might just be
Oh,
like a fresh take. This movie did a lot of stuff where if you told me they were going to do it, I'd say I'd hate it. There's literally 40 minutes of this movie that you could cut out because it's literally just having characters in
mhm,
there to set up future projects, which I
sure.
usually hate. But it works so well in this movie. I just think everything works so well. The fact that like the supporting cast had to step up after the passing of Chadwick Boseman now be like the main cast.
Hmm.
It is incredible. It is rare to see a movie in a packed theater where there's moments where it's just silent and you just feel like you can hear people sniffling. And it is such a powerful movie. And I will say no more except that this movie deserves to be seen in a theater. That
Wow,
is the first time in a while I felt that way about a Marvel movie. I'm like, this deserves to be seen in a theater.
that's a glowing review.
It's
Wow.
so good. Well, since we're hyping up Disney in June, I watched Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh,
And
so did I.
me and Duncan went to record a full episode of just this, but then like halfway through, I almost like passed out. So we had to trash the whole thing.
I wish I kept that. That's so funny. You're just like, hey, man, by the
Duncan,
way,
I gotta go eat some crackers.
you're like, by the way, I'm dying. Like, can we
Yes.
stop this? It's very funny.
Um, I just gotta say, a lot of people have complained about the music in this series. I think the music slapped.
People
Days on
complained about the
Alderaan,
music.
Days on Alderaan, composed by Natalie Holt. I listen to that driving to work sometimes, and I'm like, today's gonna be a phenomenal day.
Wow.
Um, what are your thoughts on the Obi-Wan series?
Um, you might not like it, but my overall thoughts are that this should have been a movie.
I can agree with that. I do think it was a movie. It does feel like it was planned to be a movie and it was stretched out.
I think the Princess Leia stuff was good. That was a very good misdirection because everyone thought it would be just Luke the whole time. I do think if this were a movie, there should have been less of Leia, and that would have made it be more
Yeah.
effective. I think the series had too much Leia. I think the twist of the show should have been handled a little more properly. I think
What was the twist of the show?
that spoilers for Obi-Wan, that Riva has been trying to kill Darth Vader this whole time.
Okay, yeah.
I
I
think,
really liked that.
yeah, giving Darth Vader like this new villain, and you're like, oh, the villain's not in the main series, so something happens. And then she's like, I'm gonna kill this guy. And you know the guy survives. It's a very interesting technique. And here's my big thing. This show should have considered more that we knew it was a prequel because literally like almost everyone in this show we know survives to like die a different time. And so when they introduce new characters and then those characters die and the show's like, "Are you sad?" I was like,
I love the Leia. Like I love that Leia was in it as much as she was because
yeah,
when I saw the trailers, I was a little jaded Star Wars fan, and I was like, well, I was like, Obi-Wan's not leaving Tatooine
right,
unless Luke leaves. And Luke can't leave Tatooine because his whole motivation in A New Hope is that he's never left Tatooine.
right.
I thought first of all, I thought that little girl was adorable.
She was great, yeah.
I thought she was great. Oh my gosh, the scene where she just holds his hand, I forget what end of the episode was, that like melted my heart. I will say this is what I will say about the Obi-Wan scenes, the series as a whole. The parts that were good were like great.
I'll agree with that.
And I do think there were, but I do think there were sections that were stretched out. I didn't like what they did with, and I love the actor Kumail Nanjiani.
Right, yeah.
I didn't like, I didn't, it's not even that I didn't like his character. I was like, the show's called Obi-Wan, and I was part of me was hoping for like a Mike Flanagan-esque like deep dive into like the character.
Sure, yeah.
And I felt like we got a very surface level version of it. I think it worked.
Mhm.
I thought by the last episode, everything with Vader and Obi-Wan worked. I will say Disney has done a really great job with just the character of Vader and making sure every scene he's in works. The scene where he goes to confront Riva and it just cuts to him like walking in the Fortress Inquisitorius, and it's like handheld. I was like, oh, this guy's coming! Like he is pissed. I loved it.
I think the show, again, if it were a movie and it was just about Obi-Wan and Vader, it would have been a lot better because exploring that dynamic, I mean, isn't that what the entire series is
Yeah.
about?
Like a lot of people were mad about Riva. I thought Riva was a really good
They
addition.
were mad because she's a black woman, Frank. Like that's
Yeah,
why they were
that's a
mad.
lot of it. I actually thought that character, my whole thing was, oh, they should have cut out stuff with Riva. I was like, they should have cut out a lot of the fluff of the series. I agree. Focused on the emotional part of Obi-Wan because playing the characters of Riva and Obi-Wan against each other,
It's good.
it's very interesting because they both come from very similar backgrounds. And
For her to be
Obi-Wan is
power
very much in
hungry and
denial, and she's kind of accepted it, but accepted it in a wrong way. And in a way, she's going to help Obi-Wan accept the events, but he's going to be able to accept them in a better way. So, like thematically, it's all there. Just the
Mhm.
execution, I think it got a little muddled.
Yeah.
I loved a lot about the series, and I'm probably going to end up going back and rewatching it. Like I do think it's like a rewatchable series, but
I will say, as opposed to Boba Fett, I think this show probably has a little bit more rewatchability.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we have 3 minutes left
I
in
was
our.
going to say we should probably do our little. We'll be right back.
All right, everyone. Intermission time.
Intermission time.
See you in a sec. Go get a drink of water or go to the
Don't drink a
bathroom.
carbonated beverage, or you'll be just like me.
There we
Good
go.
luck.
That's it, man. All right. Tell me about a movie you watched.
Well, how many do you have left?
Two.
Well, I have seven, so I'm going to jump right into it.
Yeah.
Um, oh gosh. I want to talk about one so that way the rest of them will all be horror movies. For some reason I was feeling
Perfect.
in June. This movie's not. This movie's called First Reformed. Have you heard of this movie?
I have, yes. This is
This
with
movie
Ethan
stars
Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. This month is a little bit of a Hawkathon, I'll call it. I This movie is about Ethan Hawke. It's basically, I guess this is kind of a spoiler.
Ooh.
I, I don't think this movie is super sought after. It's
Uh-huh.
basically the same plot as the Joker, but what if he was a priest? Um, and it's really good. This movie actually had a really a bit. I didn't know what this movie was. I went into it blind. I was eating a pizza with cheese and pineapple on it, and I felt sick to my stomach afterwards. It's one of those movies, but it is frickety dickety good. And I highly recommend it. I highly recommend seeking it out. I think Ethan Hawke is a powerhouse. You know, this isn't a movie that's trying to be the flashiest movie it can. It's just trying to tell a story with people, and you're trying to understand them and really like dive into it and their psyche. And I can get behind that. Directed by Paul Schrader. I mean, he's a legend.
Paul Schrader?
Paul Schrader.
Never heard of him.
He wrote Taxi Driver.
Is that a musical?
No, you're thinking Taxi. Isn't Taxi a musical?
You're thinking of Taxi Driver.
No.
Okay, sorry. Keep talking.
First Reformed is a good movie, which I did a double feature. Actually, no, I'm not going to talk about that.
No, mention it at
No,
least.
I'm not going to because I'm going to talk about it later. I watched the movie Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh,
It's
would you?
good. I liked it. I don't really have much to say about it.
That's fair.
Um, but the main girl in it who plays Nancy, oh, my mother's trying to call me. Not now.
No, talk to her
I
on the podcast. That'd be great.
um the woman who plays Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street
Hmm.
is the main doctor in the Midnight Club.
Oh,
Watch the Midnight Club. The Midnight Club is
we
spectacular.
already talked about the Midnight Club. We
I
don't have to talk about that anymore.
Listen. I love Mike Flanagan,
We know.
so I just have to plug him. Follow him on TikTok. Anyway,
It's TikTok. That's probably the best way you can get in touch with him. You should like
that is
reply to all
true.
of his
I
shit.
What would I say?
Say
Oh,
like,
I'm an inspiring filmmaker. Like he's heard that all before, you know.
"Can I sire your children?"
I actually just bought, speaking of Mike Flanagan, I just bought a big movie poster to put over there for my
Yeah.
Doctor Sleep poster. So after we hang up, I'm going to be hanging that up. I'm really excited. Um,
Wow. Yeah, that's you're gonna
it's a
have
big
quite a
day.
collection of posters in your
Well, I
apartment.
used to work at a movie theater, and the people who owned it were hoarders. So, yep. Um, what else do I want to talk about? The Black Phone.
You talked about the Black Phone
Oh, I did in the Halloween episode. Shoot.
in the
Oh,
Halloweener
I
episode.
watched The Black Phone. Ethan Hawke is in it once again. The Hawkathon continues. Um, this movie is spectacular. It's probably gonna be my top 10 of the year. I adore this movie. The bond between the siblings in this is just it's so good. Ethan Hawke is a
The
powerhouse.
siblings. I thought they were like random kids.
Yeah, but it follows a set of siblings because the sister's trying to find the brother that's kidnapped.
Oh, okay.
It's really cute. I really love this movie. I can't wait to watch it again.
Oh,
I got to watch this in a theater all by myself.
why was not performing that well?
No, it performed really good. I think it was made for like $5 million and made like 90 million. So like it did really good.
Wow, actually, good for them. That's
Um,
those are not low numbers.
I went in the morning at a theater that primarily old people go to, so I had the whole theater to myself because nobody was seeing the Black Phone. I loved it. I thought it was tremendous, and I convinced other people to watch it. So I'm proud of myself.
That's
And
cool.
I hope I convince you, the audience, to watch it as well. I think it's streaming. Anyway, Duncan, what did you watch?
Good question. I watched, not of my choice, Morbius.
The Living Vampire.
Morbius, the Living Vampire.
Um,
I mean, I was probably one of the last humans on Earth to watch Morbius for the first time.
I
Um,
haven't seen Morbius.
really?
I saw the end credit scene.
You work in a movie theater. How did you like not
I
watch?
like walked in and would watch 2 seconds, and I was like, I'm never gonna watch this in its entirety.
That's my recommendation. Don't watch it.
Um, do you know how much longer we have on the Zoom meeting?
We just started it, so probably like 35 minutes.
So, well, it's fine. You know why? Because
You
it's
gotta go
Morbin
somewhere?
time. It's Morbin time. It was all a setup, Duncan. I just won one more $1 billion. This
I,
movie really had a huge meme culture behind it to the point where they got Sony to re-release it and have it flop again.
you know
Um,
what? I think this movie kind of speaks for its own, right? Like, what could we say? Like, everyone was there.
so you know how they re-released in September Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
The rumor is that they only re-released that to recoup the money they lost from re-releasing Morbius, which
Well,
is which is pretty funny.
that it Morbius continues to deliver. It's the movie
Um,
that keeps on giving.
I'm never gonna watch it.
I don't really recommend that you do. You've probably like seen every scene in this movie and other movies.
That's true. You have one more movie left, right?
I do.
Alrighty. Are you done with Morbius?
Yeah,
What's been said about Morbius that weekend, you know?
so true.
Have you seen the horror movie from 2009 starring Ethan Hawke, called Sinister?
I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
I watched this movie for the first time in June and absolutely loved it. Um, it closed out the Hawkathon, you know?
Yeah.
And this movie basically is Ethan Hawke is a writer and he writes spooky books and he's struggling to find inspiration. So he decides to move his family into a house, but he doesn't tell them that a family got murdered in this house brutally. And spooky stuff ensues. From the first frame, this movie had my attention and it just did not let go. I highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. I loved it. It's a good time. Like if you just love a good scary movie, if you just want to get a little scare, it's perfect.
What if you don't like being scared?
Well, don't watch it. What can I tell you?
Um, yeah, I've heard Sinister is like pretty up there in terms of like in your face
See,
stuff.
people say it's either one of the scariest movies they've ever seen, or they say it's one of the cheesiest movies that it's not even scary.
Really?
The letterbox discourse is insane.
That is an interesting split. Huh. Well, maybe that's that decade's The Last Jedi.
Someone is like yelling out in pain outside, but I'm not going out there.
And like my family group chat is hold on, how do I mute
Yeah,
notifications?
let's compare the person screaming for their life outside to your family group chat.
You didn't say screaming for their life.
I don't know what's happening out there, but I'm not. Listen, I'm not in the kind of neighborhood where you go out and shock. Okay, it's not.
Understood. Understood.
Um,
Where do I control the text sounds?
Duncan, I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
if you have another movie, I'd talk about it.
I have 3 movies I'm gonna talk about.
Go right ahead.
I pulled the Duncan Kastner and I watched a Netflix trilogy this month.
Okay.
Okay,
Talk to
the
me.
only difference is these were actually really good. And I watched the Fear Street trilogy.
Oh, I've actually wow, you really did watch a lot of horror stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, I've been interested in these. Tell me about it.
So these are spectacular. These are spectacular.
Are or aren't?
Are
Okay.
they were written by R.L. Stein, I believe. And I
Oh,
was a
a
kid that loved
Goosebumps
watching
fan.
the Goosebumps TV shows from the 90s. I loved watching that growing up. Um, and to me, what's great about this is that it has like the soul and heart of Goosebumps, but it's R rated and made for adults. So
Oh,
it's
Frank. Uh,
so it just flies. It goes so great. There's a scene where a woman's head gets like shoved into like what do you call the thing that you crank and the meat comes out grinded?
a
A meat
meat
grinder.
grinder.
Um That wasn't even a bit. That was genuine. How sad is that? I so here's what I'll say. So Fear Street 1994 takes place in the 90s. Um, that's my favorite one. And I'm on the minority on that one. Apparently, the second one, Fear Street 1978, is everyone's favorite.
Okay.
1994 people had like ranked as their least favorite, which I was surprised. It was my favorite.
Hmm.
Um, I
Well, they're
thought this
not like
movie,
educated like you are.
that's true. They don't have my pizzazz. Um, I thought 94 was just incredible. You have this ensemble cast of like these young up and coming actors, and they're all phenomenal. And these movies are actually genuinely pretty funny too. And
Okay.
1994, I lied. We're continuing it. It opens with a scene of Maya Hawke getting murdered, which is Ethan Hawke's daughter. So one could argue that the Hawkathon continued. Um,
You're pushing it, if I could
I
be
loved
frank.
Fear Street 1994. 1978, I thought was so good. Like 1978, they're like, okay, it's a cheesy summer camp movie.
Oh,
And it's so good. It's so good. Um, and the deaths, the kills are so grotesque and they're great. They're over the top. It's so much fun. I actually only watched these because I had a coworker and she said I don't like horror. She was younger, and
mhm.
so she was like, "But you should definitely check out these movies. I think you'd like them." And I watched them, and I like told her I was like, "You have good taste. These are fantastic." Um,
Oh,
yeah, Fear Street 1978 is great. It's a summer camp movie, and then they have Fear Street 1666, which is like in Salem during like the witch trials
the
and all
third
that.
one is the most far back in time.
Yeah, so they all go back.
Oh,
Um,
huh.
1666 is kind of a cheat movie. This is what I like to say though. Every movie feels like its own full complete movie, but there's this overlying arc.
That's
Um
cool. Yeah.
1666 is really only the first hour, and then the last half of the movie is them back in the 1994
Oh, so they like end there.
timeline. So
Okay.
they can like kind of put a bow to the story.
Gotcha.
It's so good. It is so good. I absolutely adored this trilogy. I thought it was great. I highly recommend that is the one I recommend this month that people check out is the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix. It doesn't get better. It does not get better. And I there's talk that Netflix is hoping to do some sort of continuation of it, of like not so much continuing the story of the characters in the Fear Street trilogy, but kind of expanding, doing a similar thing of having three movies with R.L. Stein and they all, and
Okay. So
I'm
like
down for it.
continuing the format. That's
Yes.
cool. That's creative.
Duncan,
Yeah.
take us home.
This is my last of five.
Is it a good one?
It's a very good one.
Oh
I saved
boy.
this one best for last intentionally. I watched Emergency. It has kind of a bland name, so I don't know if you've heard of it.
Emergency. I'm thinking of Ambulance by Michael
It's
Bay.
not Ambulance.
No, it's Ambulance because the movie takes place in LA. So the L and the A in ambulance are capitalized in green in the logo. And when I worked at the movie theater, we'd had a marquee that said that. And my coworkers would laugh because every time I sold a ticket, I'd say, Ambulance will be in theater too. Second theater on your left. And no, everyone would start laughing. And I was like, yeah, what is emergency? What year did it
Okay.
come out?
Emergency. It came out recently, I believe in like the 2020s.
2022. Oh, I did know about this. Who's Sabrina Carpenter? Why does that ring a bell? I feel like she
From
did something
from Disney.
illegal.
From Disney.
Oh, who was
She's a
she?
musician. I don't know actually what specifically she did on Disney.
Oh, she was Tall Girl.
She's the sister in Tall Girl.
Oh, The Adventures in Babysitting. That was after my
After Your Time. Okay, Emergency. This movie is about a friendship between these two black college students. One of them is popular and like more about the party side of things, and the other one is very studious. And the premise is that the two of them and their roommate, like on this very important night, happen upon a drunk girl in their living room who is unconscious. And like it's at one of those college houses where it's just like a shitty house with like four
Yeah.
rooms. It's like a dorm that's standing on its own, basically.
And there's just a woman there.
Right, just like this drunk kid. And they're like, we didn't bring her here. We don't know who did. And like it's one of the biggest party nights.
Yeah.
But like if we call the cops, they're gonna think we did something. If we tell other people, like it could put her in danger. And it's basically these three trying to figure out what the hell do you do when you have someone who's not responsive and in trouble, but like you could get in trouble by helping them. And it's such an interesting breakdown of like how like black kids can't do anything without like raising the suspicion of cops, or like having a white person like peeking from their drapes like on the phone like, hello policeman. And it's like it's such a good capsulation of that, because the whole movie is not like heavy social commentary. It's a comedy. This movie is so funny. Actually, it is like way funnier than a lot of, I think, classic like buddy stories.
Mm.
So I was laughing, and then they like take a minute to have a scene where it's like, we can't call the cops, or like our taillight is out, we'll get pulled over.
Yeah.
And like this movie is also very good at escalating tension, because Sabrina Carpenter plays the sister of the girl who's like,
So she's the sister of the tall girl and the sister of the girl.
she plays a mean sister.
She's just America's sister.
Exactly. That's she'd love that, I think. This movie's very good. It's short too. I recommend this. This is a 10 out of 10 recommendation from me.
I thought you were going to say it's a 10-hour movie. I was like,
That would be excessive.
oh Lord.
It's very good though.
Um, I feel very content with this episode. I
Yeah,
feel like we recommended some good stuff. Um,
this has
I,
been a
I,
good one.
I feel good.
How many do you have left? You're done?
We're done.
Oh, really?
We can rest now, Duncan.
Thank God. I've been asleep for 100 years, and this is what I woke up for. So I got
Guys,
people to.
let us know in the comments if you've seen any of these movies.
Well,
Interact with us. We respond.
what you'd like to see.
Yeah, what do you want us to watch?
We'll listen to some of you.
We'll watch it.
Every other comment will actually follow that advice.
I think I'm so excited to talk about Andor in the future.
Yeah,
we're
me
gonna
too.
do an Andor episode. We're just gonna do
100% we will.
an Andor episode. It's so good. Um, fellas, like this podcast, subscribe.
If you want.
No, just do it. Even if you don't want to do it.
My bad. I'm sorry.
And hit the bell notification, you fool.
But most of all, thank you for watching. We
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for watching. We love you. You're in our hearts everywhere we go. And you will be in our wills when we die.
Okay, I didn't agree to that.
Bye.